A man is about to face his fate in the electric chair, and his final request is to see his beloved dog one last time. But when his button enters the room, something unimaginable happens. Zeus, the loyal dog he adores, carries more than just love. It hides a secret that could change everything. Before continuing the story, tell me which city you're watching from. I want to know how far this video has come. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so I can send you exciting stories like this every day. The harsh Sierra Valley sun beat down on the imposing walls of Blackwood Correctional Facility, casting long shadows across the dusty yard. Liam Harris sat in his cell, his fingers tracing the edges of a worn photograph, the only reminder of his life before everything changed. In the picture, a German shepherd named Zeus stared back at him with loyal eyes, a stark contrast to the cold steel bars that had become Liam's reality. If this story caught your interest, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give it a like. Tell us which city you are watching from. Let's keep going. 5 years had passed since that fateful day when everything he'd built at Vanguard Systems came crashing down. The technology corporation he'd devoted his life to had turned against him, presenting evidence that seemed irrefutable. Digital footprints, personal passwords, and suspicious offshore transfers. The trial had been swift, leaving him branded as the perpetrator of one of the largest data breaches in corporate history. Through it all, Liam maintained his innocence, even as appeal after appeal was rejected. His only solace came through occasional letters from Maya, an old friend who had taken Zeus into her care. Each envelope brought a small piece of his former life, describing how Zeus still waited by the door every evening at exactly 6 p.m., the time Liam used to return home from work. The morning sun filtered through the narrow window of his cell when guard Carter appeared, his expression unusually soft. "Harris, the warden wants to see you." The walk to the warden's office felt longer than usual, each step echoing through the silent corridors. Warden Holt sat behind his desk, reading glasses perched on his nose as he reviewed a document. "Mr. Harris, I understand you have made an unusual request." He looked up, studying Liam's face. "You want to see your dog?" Liam's voice was steady despite the emotion threatening to break through. "Yes, sir. Zeus, he's all I have left." The warden removed his glasses, folding them carefully. "It's unprecedented, you understand. But given the circumstances and the media attention your case has received," he paused, choosing his words carefully, "we're willing to grant this request under strict security protocols." News of the approved visit spread quickly through Redstone's corridors. Even the most hardened guards found themselves moved by the simple humanity of the request. Evelyn Grant, Liam's determined attorney who had taken his case when others wouldn't, arranged the details with Maya. The day of the visit arrived with an unusual tension in the air. Zeus was brought in by a professional handler following strict security protocols. The moment the German shepherd entered the visiting area, something changed in the atmosphere. Liam, seated and restrained according to protocol, felt his heart skip a beat as familiar paws clicked against the floor. Zeus's reaction was immediate and unexpected. The usually calm dog became agitated, pulling at his leash, whining in a way that made the handler struggle to maintain control. Something about his behavior seemed off. Not just the excitement of seeing a beloved owner, but something more urgent, more deliberate. That's when Liam noticed it. A small metallic glint on Zeus's collar, nearly invisible unless you knew where to look. With years of engineering experience, he recognized it instantly as something that shouldn't be there. In a split second of controlled chaos, as the handler struggled to calm Zeus, Liam's fingers found the device and concealed it. Evelyn, observing from behind the glass partition, noticed something shift in Liam's demeanor. The resigned acceptance she'd seen in his eyes for months had been replaced by something else. A spark of hope, or perhaps determination. She couldn't know that hidden in Liam's palm was a USB drive that would change everything. Back in his cell, Liam examined the device when no one was watching. The encryption was sophisticated, exactly what he would expect from someone trying to protect sensitive information. But more importantly, he recognized the encryption style. It was reminiscent of protocols he himself had helped develop at Vanguard Systems. Outside the prison walls, Evelyn's office had become a center of unusual activity. Strange calls came at odd hours, and twice she found signs that someone had attempted to access her files. Rather than frighten her, These incidents only strengthened her resolve. After years of defending Liam, she developed an instinct about the case, and everything happening now only confirmed her suspicions that there was much more beneath the surface. Maya Clark sat in her dimly lit home office, her hands trembling as she read Liam's hastily scribbled letter for the third time. Zeus lay at her feet, his dark eyes following her every move with an intelligence that sometimes unnerved her. The letter had arrived through unofficial channels, passed through a complex chain of trusted individuals to avoid detection. The device contains more than just data, Liam's careful handwriting explained. It's the key to everything. But you'll need specific software to access it, software that only someone with intimate knowledge of Vanguard systems would know about. The letter continued with detailed instructions, written in the technical language Liam was known for during his days as a systems engineer. Evelyn Grant arrived at Maya's house just as the sun was setting. The attorney had taken every precaution to ensure she wasn't followed, switching cars twice and taking circuitous routes through the city. Recent events had taught her that paranoia wasn't just justified, it was necessary. "I received a warning today," Evelyn said, accepting a cup of coffee from Maya. "A former Vanguard Systems employee tried to contact me. Before we could meet, he suddenly disappeared, accepted a sudden job offer in another country according to his family. The timing is too convenient." Maya nodded, pulling out her laptop. "Liam's instructions are complex, but I think I understand what he's trying to tell us. The encryption on this device isn't just about security, it's a message in itself. The method used is something he developed himself, a signature of sorts." As they worked through the night, Zeus maintained his vigilant watch by the window. The dog's training was becoming more apparent. He wasn't just a pet. He had been prepared for this moment. Every few hours, he would make a systematic sweep of the house's perimeter, checking specific points with military precision. The first breakthrough came at dawn. Maya's screen filled with lines of code that made Evelyn's eyes glaze over, but Maya's sharp intake of breath indicated something significant. "These aren't just random files," she whispered. "This is evidence of a massive corporate espionage operation, but not the one Liam was accused of. It's something much bigger." The files revealed a complex web of corporate maneuvering. Aegis Tech hadn't just been developing security systems, they had been creating sophisticated tools for data extraction and manipulation. Liam's division had unknowingly been part of something much darker than they realized. Evelyn's legal mind quickly grasped the implications. This isn't just about Liam anymore. These documents suggest systematic manipulation of evidence. The timestamps on some of these files, they predate Liam's alleged crimes. Someone was laying the groundwork for his downfall long before the actual incident. A sudden noise from outside made Zeus's ears prick up. The dog moved silently to the window, his posture alert but not alarming. Maya and Evelyn froze, years of caution making them instantly wary. After a tense moment, Zeus relaxed, false alarm, but a reminder that they couldn't let their guard down. As they dug deeper into the files, patterns began to emerge. Names of high-ranking Aegis Tech executives appeared alongside government contract numbers that had never been made public. Financial transactions were routed through a maze of shell companies, each layer revealing new connections to powerful figures. "Look at this," Maya pointed to her screen. "These security protocols, they're Liam's work, but they've been modified. Someone took his original designs and repurposed them. The signatures are subtle, but they're there if you know where to look." Evelyn began organizing the information methodically, her legal training kicking in. "We need to be strategic about how we use this. The wrong move could alert them that we have this information. And there's something else that bothers me. How did this device end up with Zeus in the first place?" Maya's eyes widened as she considered the implications. Someone on the inside must be helping us. Someone who knew about Liam's request to see Zeus and used it as an opportunity. She looked at the German shepherd with new appreciation. They chose the perfect courier who would suspect a dog. The morning sun was streaming through the windows when they discovered an encrypted message embedded deep within the files. It was addressed directly to Liam, dated just weeks before his arrest. "Project Mirror is compromised, they know. Watch your back." And then Evelyn pulled out her phone, scrolling through her case notes. "I've seen this before, Project Mirror. It was mentioned in passing during the trial, but when I tried to get more information, I hit a wall of classified documents and national security citations. Maya's computer chimed, indicating it had finished decrypting another section of files. What they found made both women sit back in shock. There, laid out in meticulous detail, was evidence of a massive corporate conspiracy that went far beyond industrial espionage. Aegis Tech hadn't just been protecting government secrets, they had been actively involved in manipulating them. The fluorescent lights of Evelyn's law office cast harsh shadows across the scattered documents on her desk. She had spent the last 3 days meticulously analyzing every piece of information from the encrypted drive, searching for a pattern that would hold up in court. The wall behind her desk had become a complex web of photographs, sticky notes, and red string, a physical manifestation of the conspiracy they were uncovering. A gentle knock on her office door made her jump. It was Holt Turner, a senior federal agent who had contacted her anonymously earlier that week. His presence in her office was both a risk and an opportunity. "I'm putting my career on the line by being here," he said, closing the door carefully behind him. "But what's happening at Aegis Tech goes beyond corporate misconduct." Evelyn studied his face, looking for any sign of deception. "Why come forward now? Liam has been in Redstone for years." Holt pulled out a thick folder from his briefcase. "Because what happened to Call wasn't an isolated incident. There are others, whistleblowers, security experts, even government officials, who got too close to the truth. None of them were eliminated, but their lives were systematically destroyed through carefully orchestrated scandals and false evidence." Meanwhile, at Maya's house, Zeus's behavior had become increasingly purposeful. The German shepherd led her to an old storage box in the garage, pawing at it insistently. Inside, Maya found Liam's old work journals, ones she thought had been confiscated during the investigation. Hidden between technical notes and system diagrams were subtle references to Project Mirror and a series of coded warnings. "He knew," Maya whispered to herself. Liam knew something was wrong, but he couldn't tell anyone directly. She immediately called Evelyn, who put her on speaker so Agent Turner could hear. "The journals mention a warehouse," Maya explained, flipping through the pages. "It belongs to a subsidiary company, but Liam marked it with a special symbol, the same one we found in the encrypted files." Turner leaned forward, suddenly alert. "That warehouse is officially listed as abandoned, but our surveillance shows regular activity, especially late at night. We could never justify a formal investigation without probable cause." Back at Redstone, Liam was facing increased scrutiny. The guards had noticed a change in his behavior since Zeus's visit, a renewed energy that made them uneasy. He was moved to a more isolated cell, but not before he managed to pass another coded message to his sympathetic guard, Carter. "I need you to get this to Evelyn Grant," Liam had whispered, passing a small paper during his exercise period. "It's not just about clearing my name anymore. What they're doing at Vanguard Systems could compromise national security." Carter, a 20-year veteran of the prison system, had seen enough wrongful convictions to develop a sixth sense about inmates. Something about Liam's case had never sat right with him, and the recent increased pressure from higher up to restrict Liam's communications only reinforced his suspicions. Evelyn and Agent Turner spent hours reviewing security footage from around the warehouse. Through careful analysis, they identified several high-ranking Vanguard Systems executives entering the facility during off hours. More surprisingly, they spotted government vehicles, ones with diplomatic plates, making regular visits. "This goes higher than corporate espionage," Turner muttered, pausing the video. "Vanguard Systems isn't just developing security systems. They're creating sophisticated surveillance tools, selling them to the highest bidder, and using their government contracts as cover." Maya's continued analysis of the encrypted drive revealed another layer of deception. The security systems Liam had developed were intended to protect sensitive data, but someone had modified them to create hidden backdoors. His original code had been twisted into something far more sinister, a tool for corporate and government surveillance on an unprecedented scale. "Look at these access logs," Maya pointed out to Evelyn during a secure video call. The data breach they blamed on Liam. It was actually a test run. They needed to prove their system could penetrate any security protocol, and they needed a scapegoat when the test left too many traces. Evelyn's office had become a command center of sorts. Agent Turner brought in trusted colleagues, analysts and investigators who had harbored their own suspicions about Vanguard systems, but never had enough evidence to act. Each new piece of information they uncovered painted a more disturbing picture of corporate corruption and government complicity. Zeus, meanwhile, continued his own silent investigation. The dog's training became more evident as he led Maya to different locations around the city, places mentioned in Liam's journals, each one containing another piece of the puzzle. It became clear that Liam had prepared for this possibility, training his loyal companion as both messenger and guide. As the team worked to unravel the conspiracy, they discovered something even more troubling. Vanguard Systems wasn't just manipulating data, they were manipulating people. The company had developed sophisticated social engineering protocols, using their access to personal data to identify potential threats and neutralize them before they could become whistleblowers. The abandoned warehouse loomed before Maya and Evelyn in the pre-dawn light, its weathered exterior belying the secrets it held within. Agent Turner had provided them with surveillance equipment and a secure communication line, but they were still taking an enormous risk. Zeus, ever vigilant, led the way, his training becoming more apparent with each calculated move. According to Liam's journals, there should be a secondary entrance on the east side, Maya whispered, consulting a hand-drawn map. The German shepherd was already heading in that direction, moving with purpose through the shadows. Years of training with Liam had prepared him for exactly this type of covert operation. Evelyn's phone buzzed. Silently, a message from Guard Carter at Redstone. Liam's being transferred to isolation. They're claiming it's standard procedure, but something's off. The orders came directly from the state capitol, bypassing normal channels. Inside the warehouse, past layers of dust and abandoned equipment, they found evidence of recent activity. Modern security cameras had been carefully concealed behind old fixtures, and what appeared to be a decrepit office door actually housed a state-of-the-art fingerprint scanner. This is Aegis Tech technology, Maya noted, examining the scanner without touching it, but it's not commercial grade. This is something else entirely. Her years of friendship with Liam had taught her enough about security systems to recognize when something was beyond ordinary specifications. Back at her office, Evelyn's team of trusted investigators had made a breakthrough. We've been tracking financial transfers through shell companies, reported Lisa Chen, a forensic accountant. Aegis Tech isn't just developing surveillance systems, they're testing them on their own employees. Liam wasn't the first person they targeted, but he was the most prominent. Agent Turner arrived with more troubling news. We've identified several other Aegis Tech employees who were positioned as potential scapegoats. Most of them were transferred to different projects or locations before anything happened. But Liam? He paused, choosing his words carefully. Liam was different because he started asking questions about Project Mirror. Maya's examination of the warehouse revealed a hidden server room carefully concealed behind what appeared to be old storage shelves. The technology inside was cutting edge, humming with active data transfers. They're still using this facility, she realized. This isn't just storage, it's an active operation. Zeus's behavior changed suddenly, his ears perking up at a distant sound. Thanks to his training, they had enough warning to hide before a security patrol passed through. The guards' uniforms bore no Aegis Tech logos, but their equipment was unmistakably from the company's advanced security division. Evelyn received an encrypted message from one of Turner's contacts within the government. Project Mirror wasn't just about surveillance, she read aloud to Maya once they were safely away from the warehouse. It was about creating perfect digital copies of people's lives. Copies that could be manipulated to create any narrative they wanted. The implications were staggering. With this technology, Aegis Tech could fabricate a person's entire digital footprint. Emails, phone records, financial transactions. Everything could be crafted to tell whatever story they wanted. Liam hadn't just discovered this capability. He had unknowingly helped create it through his work on advanced security protocols. In his isolated cell at Redstone, Liam was writing furiously, documenting everything he could remember about Project Mirror. Guard Carter, now fully convinced of Liam's innocence, ensured these notes reached Evelyn through secure channels. "They're getting nervous," Carter reported. "There's been increased pressure from outside to limit his communications even further." Maya's analysis of the warehouse's security systems revealed something unexpected. These protocols, they're based on Liam's original designs, but they've been modified. The changes are subtle, but they create vulnerabilities that shouldn't exist in a system this sophisticated. They're not bugs, Evelyn realized. They're features. Aegis Tech wanted these systems to be penetrable, but only by them. They're selling the illusion of security while maintaining complete access to their clients' data. Agent Turner coordinated with his trusted team to begin surveillance on key Aegis Tech executives. The patterns they observed were telling: late-night meetings with government officials, unmarked vehicles making regular deliveries to supposedly abandoned facilities, and a constant flow of data to servers around the world. While examining Liam's journals more closely, Maya discovered a series of seemingly random numbers that turned out to be coordinates. Each location corresponded to another Aegis Tech facility, forming a hidden network of surveillance and data collection points across the country. The tension in Evelyn's office was palpable as her team processed the latest information from the warehouse investigation. Agent Turner stood before the evidence board, connecting new threads between Aegis Tech executives and government officials. The pattern was becoming clearer, but time was running out. "We've identified a key player," Turner announced, pinning a new photograph to the board. Holt Chen, Chief Technology Officer at Aegis Tech. He was promoted shortly after Liam's arrest, and his signature appears on several classified Project Mirror documents. Maya burst into the office, Zeus at her heels, clutching a laptop. "You need to see this," she said breathlessly. "I've been analyzing the security footage from the warehouse. Look at the timestamps on these server maintenance logs." The screen showed a series of systematic data purges occurring exactly 3 days before Liam's arrest. They were covering their tracks, Evelyn realized. But why keep the warehouse operational if it could expose them? She turned to Turner, who was already making calls to his contacts in federal intelligence. At Redstone, Guard Carter noticed increased activity around Liam's isolation cell. New security protocols were being implemented, and outside consultants bearing Aegis Tech credentials were installing additional surveillance equipment. "They're watching the watchers," Carter murmured to himself, carefully documenting everything he observed. Maya's continued analysis of Liam's encrypted files revealed a crucial detail. The back doors in the security systems weren't just for surveillance, but she explained to Evelyn and Turner. They were designed to inject false data, emails, financial records, even security camera footage, all authenticated to appear genuine. The implications hit Evelyn like a physical force. That's how they created the evidence against Liam. They didn't just frame him, they rewrote his entire digital history. She began pulling files from the original trial, seeing them in a completely new light. Agent Turner received an urgent message from one of his inside sources. Aegis Tech is preparing to move something from the warehouse. Whatever it is, they're using diplomatic couriers to transport it, making it untouchable by normal law enforcement. Zeus's training proved invaluable as they conducted surveillance on the warehouse. The German Shepherd could detect approaching security patrols long before they became visible, allowing Maya and Evelyn to gather crucial evidence without being discovered. His behavior suggested he had been specifically trained for this type of covert operation, raising new questions about Liam's preparations before his arrest. "Look at this," Maya pointed to her screen during a secure video conference with Evelyn's team. She had discovered a hidden pattern in the Aegis Tech network traffic. They're not just collecting data, they're creating predictive models of human behavior. Project Mirrors isn't about surveillance, it's about manipulation on a massive scale. Evelyn received an anonymous package containing internal Aegis Tech memoranda. The documents revealed a systematic program to identify and neutralize potential whistleblowers before they could expose the company's activities. Liam's name appeared repeatedly in these reports, marked as a primary concern due to his access to core security protocols. Agent Turner team made another breakthrough while analyzing financial records. "We found a pattern of unusual consulting payments to retired judges and government officials," he reported. All of them were involved in cases where Aegis Tech's interests were at stake. Maya discovered something alarming in the latest batch of decrypted files. They're developing something called Project Echo, an evolution of Mirror that can not only create false digital footprints, but also erase genuine ones. They're not just framing people, they're making them disappear from the digital world entirely. Guard Carter managed to pass Liam a message from Evelyn during a routine cell check. Liam's response was cryptic, but urgent. "Check the original security protocols, version 2.1.6. The backdoor isn't just a vulnerability, it's a beacon. I left something there. Working through the night, Maya followed Liam's hint, diving deep into the original code. What she found hidden in the security protocols was astonishing. A silent witness that had been recording everything, waiting to be discovered. Liam hadn't just suspected he might be targeted, he had created a failsafe. Maya's hands flew across the keyboard as she delved deeper into Liam's failsafe protocol. The code was elegant in its simplicity. A hidden program that had been silently documenting every unauthorized access to Aegis Tech systems for years. Evelyn and Agent Turner watched intently as the data began to unfold on the screens before them. "This is incredible," Maya breathed, her eyes scanning the information. Liam didn't just create a backdoor, he created a perfect audit trail. Every time someone used the system to plant false evidence or manipulate records, his program recorded the original data alongside the changes. Evelyn immediately grasped the implications. This means we can prove not only that the evidence against Liam was fabricated, but also who fabricated it and when. She turned to Turner, who was already on his secure phone, mobilizing his team. At Redstone, Guard Carter noticed something unusual during his rounds. The Aegis Tech consultants were installing what appeared to be new security cameras, but their positioning seemed more focused on monitoring the guards than the inmates. He carefully documented everything in his encrypted messages to Evelyn. Maya's analysis of Liam's beacon revealed a complex web of corporate espionage. Aegis Tech wasn't just selling security systems, she explained during an emergency meeting with Evelyn's team. They were using them to gather intelligence on their clients, government agencies, corporations, even foreign diplomats. Zeus's behavior became increasingly focused as they continued their investigation. The German Shepherd led Maya to another location marked in Liam's journals, a small storage facility on the outskirts of town. Inside, they discovered physical backups of Liam's research, carefully preserved and hidden away. He thought of everything, Maya realized examining the documents. Liam knew they might try to erase his digital existence, so he created physical proof that couldn't be altered remotely. Evelyn received an urgent call from one of her contacts in the state capitol. "They're trying to expedite the process," she informed Turner. "Someone's pulling strings to move everything forward before we can present our evidence." The team's investigation revealed another layer of deception. Project Echo wasn't just about erasing digital footprints, it was about creating entirely new identities. Aegis Tech had developed the capability to generate complete digital lives, complete with years of false history, all authenticated by their own security systems. "Look at these server logs," Maya pointed out, highlighting a series of suspicious patterns. Every time Aegis Tech systems were used to frame someone, there was a corresponding burst of activity from these IP addresses. She pulled up a map showing the locations, all pointing back to a network of seemingly abandoned facilities. Agent Turner brought more troubling news. "We've identified several other cases similar to Liam's. Professionals in key positions who discovered something they shouldn't have suddenly found themselves implicated in crimes they didn't commit. The evidence in each case was perfect. Too perfect. The beacon in Liam's code had been collecting data for years, storing it in a distributed network that even Aegis Tech's top executives didn't know existed. It painted a picture of systematic corruption that went far beyond corporate espionage. Each time they used the system to plant false evidence," Maya explained. Displaying the data, Liam's beacon captured a snapshot of the original files. "It's like having a before and after picture of every frame job they've ever attempted." Evelyn's team began organizing the evidence into a cohesive legal strategy. The challenge wasn't just proving Liam's innocence. It was exposing the entire system of corruption without tipping off those involved. One wrong move could trigger a massive data purge, erasing years of evidence. Guard Carter managed to get another message to Liam through their secure channel. "They're installing new systems throughout the prison. Something big is coming." Liam's response was immediate and urgent. "Check the power grid connections. Project Echo requires massive computing resources. Follow the energy usage." Maya and Evelyn, following Liam's hint, began tracking unusual power consumption patterns around Aegis Tech facilities. The data revealed a network of hidden server farms, each drawing enough electricity to power a small town. The energy usage spiked dramatically 3 days before each recorded incident of evidence manipulation. Evelyn's office had transformed into a war room. Walls covered with maps tracking Aegis Tech's power consumption patterns. Each spike in energy usage corresponded perfectly with instances of data manipulation identified by Liam's beacon. Agent Turner stood before the evidence board, connecting new dots between facilities and suspicious activities. The power grid data is overwhelming, Maya explained, displaying a series of charts. These facilities are drawing more electricity than some small cities, but officially they're listed as abandoned storage units. The energy companies have been billing shell corporations that all trace back to Aegis Tech subsidiaries. A sudden alert from their surveillance system caught everyone's attention. Zeus, who had been resting near Maya's desk, immediately perked up. The German shepherd's training kicked in as he moved to the window, his posture signaling the presence of unwanted observers. "We've got company," Turner muttered, quickly activating security protocols. "Someone's watching the office." The team had prepared for this possibility, immediately initiating their containment procedures. Years of corporate subterfuge had taught them to be ready for anything. At Redstone, Carter noticed the new security installations were being completed with unusual urgency. The Aegis Tech technicians worked through the night, their activities focused particularly on the communications infrastructure. Through careful observation, he documented every change, every new camera angle, every added sensor. Maya's analysis of the power consumption data revealed something even more disturbing. These energy spikes, they're not just about processing power. According to Liam's notes, Project Echo requires massive amounts of electricity to generate its false realities. Each fabricated digital footprint needs to be backfilled with years of fake data, all perfectly synchronized to avoid detection. Evelyn received an encrypted message from a new source, someone inside Aegis Tech, who had become disillusioned with the company's activities. "They're accelerating their timelines," she informed the team. "Project Echo is being prepared for full deployment. Once it's active, they'll be able to rewrite anyone's digital history in real time." The implications were staggering. With Project Echo fully operational, Aegis Tech wouldn't just be able to frame individuals for crimes. They could completely erase or rewrite a person's entire existence in the digital world. Bank records, medical histories, professional credentials, everything could be manipulated at will. Zeus's behavior shifted suddenly, drawing Maya's attention to an overlooked detail in Liam's journals. The dog's training included specific responses to different types of surveillance, and his current behavior indicated electronic monitoring rather than physical observation. "They're not just watching us," Maya realized. "They're trying to access our systems remotely." The team immediately initiated their backup protocols, transferring crucial data to secure offline storage, another precaution Liam had insisted upon in his hidden instructions. Agent Turner team made a breakthrough in tracking the power usage. "These facilities aren't just processing data," he explained, pointing to a complex network diagram. "They're creating a distributed system that can survive any single point of failure. Even if we expose one location, the others can continue operating independently." Evelyn's legal strategy was taking shape, but time was running out. The evidence they had gathered was compelling, but presenting it would alert Vanguard systems to their investigation. They needed to strike at all locations simultaneously to prevent the company from destroying crucial evidence. Maya discovered something unusual in the power consumption patterns. "Look at these regular fluctuations," she pointed out. "They're testing the system's capabilities, creating and erasing digital identities in controlled experiments. Each test leaves a unique energy signature that Liam's beacon captured." Carter's latest report from Redstone was concerning. The new security systems were now fully operational, creating an unprecedented level of surveillance throughout the facility. But hidden in the chaos of installation, he had managed to pass Liam a crucial piece of information about Project Echo's power requirements. Liam's response, carefully coded and passed back through their secure channel, revealed something critical. The system has a weakness. Every time they generate false data, there's a moment of vulnerability. The power spike isn't just a byproduct, it's a necessity. Interrupt the power at the right moment and the entire fabrication process fails, leaving traces of manipulation that can't be hidden. The revelation about Project Echo's power dependency changed everything. Evelyn's team worked frantically to understand the implications of Liam's discovery. The conference room buzzed with activity as Maya mapped out the power grid connections to each Aegis Tech facility. If Liam's right, Maya explained, her fingers flying across the keyboard, we don't just need to expose the system, we need to catch it in the act of fabricating evidence. The power spike creates a window of vulnerability, but it's incredibly brief. Agent Turner leaned over the displays, studying the complex network of power distribution. These facilities aren't just connected to the main grid, he noted. They have redundant power supplies, backup generators. They've thought of everything. Evelyn received an urgent update from her source inside Aegis Tech. They're planning something big, she announced to the team. The energy consumption at all major facilities is ramping up simultaneously. Whatever they're preparing to do, it's happening soon. At Redstone, Guard Carter observed a new level of activity around the recently installed security systems. The Aegis Tech technicians were running final checks, their urgency suggesting an imminent operation. Through careful observation, he noticed they were paying particular attention to the prison's backup power systems. Maya's analysis of Liam's beacon data revealed a crucial pattern. The power spikes aren't random, she discovered. They follow a precise sequence. Each fabrication process requires a specific amount of energy delivered in exact intervals. Disrupt that sequence, and the whole system becomes unstable. Zeus's training proved invaluable once again. The German Shepherd's behavior indicated changes in electronic surveillance patterns around Evelyn's office. His reactions helped the team identify and avoid new monitoring attempts, staying one step ahead of Aegis Tech's surveillance. "Look at this," Maya called out, highlighting a section of code from Liam's beacon. He didn't just record the power usage, he documented the exact frequency and duration of each spike. It's like a fingerprint for every piece of fabricated evidence they've ever created. Evelyn began organizing the evidence into a comprehensive legal strategy. "We need to coordinate with power companies in each location," she explained to Turner. "When we move, we'll need their cooperation to monitor and potentially control power delivery to these facilities." The team's investigation revealed something unexpected in the power consumption data. These patterns, Maya pointed out, they're not just about creating false evidence. Some of these spikes correspond to data restoration. They're keeping copies of the original unaltered records. Agent Turner received intelligence about unusual activity at several Aegis Tech facilities. "They're moving equipment," he reported, "setting up new backup systems at locations we haven't identified yet. They're preparing contingencies." Liam's latest message from Redstone, passed through Carter's secure channel, provided crucial insight. The system isn't just vulnerable during power spikes, it's dependent on them. The energy surge isn't a side effect, it's part of the authentication process. Without the specific power signature, the fabricated data is flagged as potentially corrupted. Maya worked through the night, analyzing the power requirements for different types of data manipulation. Each type of fabrication needs a different energy pattern, she explained to Evelyn's team. Financial records, email histories, surveillance footage, they all have unique power signatures. Liam's beacon captured them all. As they dug deeper into the power data, a disturbing reality emerged. Aegis Tech wasn't just using the energy for data manipulation, they were encoding authentication certificates into the power signatures themselves. Each surge created a unique identifier that validated the fabricated evidence. Evelyn's source inside Aegis Tech provided another crucial piece of information. The company was preparing to upgrade its entire network, implementing a new version of Project Echo that would require even more power, but would be virtually undetectable once operational. The atmosphere in Evelyn's office was electric with tension as her team processed the latest information about Aegis Tech's planned system upgrade. Maya worked feverishly at her computer, analyzing the power consumption projections for the new version of Project Echo. "These new power requirements are astronomical," she explained, displaying a series of complex graphs. They're not just upgrading their systems, they're creating something that could rewrite digital reality on a massive scale. Once it's operational, detecting manipulated evidence will be nearly impossible. Agent Turner coordinated with his team, setting up surveillance on key power distribution nodes. "We've identified 23 critical junctions where Aegis Tech taps into the main power grid. Each one is disguised as a standard industrial connection, but they're drawing enough power to run a small city. At Redstone, Guard Carter noticed something unusual about the new security installations. The Aegis Tech technicians had installed what appeared to be standard backup power systems, but the specifications were far beyond normal prison requirements. Through careful observation, he documented details that seemed increasingly suspicious. Zeus's behavior shifted suddenly during their surveillance of one of Aegis Tech's facilities. The German Shepherd's training kicked in, alerting Maya to a pattern she had almost missed. Hidden in the power consumption data was a regular fluctuation that matched codes found in Liam's original security protocols. It's not just a power signature, Maya realized, her eyes wide with understanding. Liam built a communication system into the power grid itself. Each fluctuation carries encoded data. He's been gathering evidence this entire time, hiding it in plain sight within Aegis Tech's own power consumption patterns. Evelyn received an encrypted message from her source inside Aegis Tech. The company was accelerating its timeline, preparing to bring the new system online within days. The upgrade would require a massive power surge across all facilities simultaneously, a perfect opportunity to catch them in the act, but also their last chance to expose the truth. Maya's analysis of the power grid revealed something crucial. The new system needs perfect synchronization across all facilities, she explained to the team. If we can disrupt the power delivery at even one critical node during the upgrade, it could force the system to fail in a way that exposes all their manipulated data. Agent Turner brought concerning news from his surveillance teams. Aegis Tech is moving some of their operations underground, literally. They're setting up new facilities in abandoned mine shafts and subway tunnels, places where power consumption is harder to track. The team's investigation of the power grid led to another discovery. Aegis Tech hadn't just created a system for manipulating digital evidence. They had built an entire shadow infrastructure within the nation's power grid, using it to hide both their operations and their data transfers. Liam's latest message from Redstone, carefully smuggled through Carter's secure channel, provided critical insight. The power signatures aren't just for authentication, they're part of a larger pattern. Each surge contains fragments of the original, unaltered data. They've been inadvertently preserving evidence of their own manipulation. Maya worked through the complex power consumption data, piecing together the fragments hidden in the fluctuations. It's like a digital paper trail, she explained to Evelyn. Every time they created false evidence, they had to preserve the original data to maintain system integrity. All of it is encoded in the power signatures. Evelyn's legal team began preparing for multiple scenarios. The evidence they had gathered was compelling, but they needed to catch Aegis Tech in the act during the system upgrade. The power surge would provide irrefutable proof of their activities, but timing would be critical. Zeus's training proved invaluable as they conducted surveillance on Aegis Tech's power infrastructure. The German Shepherd could detect the subtle electromagnetic fields generated by underground power lines, leading the team to hidden facilities they might have otherwise missed. The discovery of Liam's power grid communication system opened up new possibilities for Evelyn's team. As they decoded more of the hidden messages embedded in the power fluctuations, a complete picture of Aegis Tech's operations began to emerge. Each power surge tells a story, Maya explained, her screens filled with decoded data. Liam didn't just record their activities. He created a documentary of every manipulation they ever attempted. The evidence has been hiding in the electrical grid this entire time, waiting to be discovered. Agent Turner coordinated with executives who had agreed to help. We've identified the main nodes they'll need for the system upgrade, he reported. When they initiate the power surge, we'll have a brief window to capture everything. At Redstone, Guard Carter observed increased activity around the new security installations. The Aegis Tech technicians were running final checks on their equipment, paying particular attention to the power supply systems. Through careful observation, he noticed they were installing additional backup generators, far more than a prison would normally require. Maya's analysis of the power grid communications revealed something unexpected. These patterns, they're not just recording data manipulation. Liam created a way to track every person who accessed the system. Every time someone used Project Echo to fabricate evidence, their digital signature was encoded in the power fluctuations. Evelyn received an urgent message from her source inside Aegis Tech. The company was preparing for the largest system upgrade in its history, requiring unprecedented levels of power across all facilities. The operation would happen simultaneously at every location, creating a perfect opportunity to expose their activities, but also their last chance to stop them. Zeus's training continued to prove invaluable as they mapped Aegis Tech's hidden infrastructure. The German Shepherd's ability to detect electromagnetic fields led them to discover a network of underground power lines connecting seemingly unrelated facilities. Each connection represented another piece of the company's shadow operations. "Look at this," Maya called out, highlighting a series of power signatures. These patterns show they've been testing the new system in isolated segments. Each test required more power than the last. Whatever they're planning with this upgrade, it's massive in scale. Agent Turner's team made a breakthrough in tracking the company's hidden facilities. They're not just using abandoned buildings, he explained. They've created a network of underground data centers, all connected through the power grid. The electrical infrastructure isn't just powering their operations, it's part of their data transmission system. Liam's latest message from Redstone, carefully relayed through Carter's secure channel, provided crucial insight. The power grid isn't just their weakness, it's their entire foundation. They built Project Echo into the electrical infrastructure because nobody would think to look there. Every power line in their network is both a power source and a data channel. Maya worked through the night, decoding more of the hidden messages in the power fluctuations. Liam didn't just create a recording system, she realized. He built a complete audit trail. Every power surge contains metadata about the original files, the changes made, and who authorized them. It's all there encrypted in the electrical noise. Evelyn's legal strategy took shape as they understood more about Aegis Tech's power grid operations. The company hadn't just created a system for manipulating digital evidence. They had built an entire parallel infrastructure within the nation's electrical grid, using it to hide both their operations and their data transfers. The team's investigation revealed the true scope of Project Echo. Aegis Tech wasn't just planning to upgrade their system, they were preparing to integrate it directly into the national power grid. Once operational, they would have the ability to manipulate digital records anywhere their power lines reached. Evelyn's office buzzed with urgent activity as her team prepared for Aegis Tech's imminent system upgrade. The evidence board had evolved into a complex web of power grid connections, each line representing both an electrical connection and a potential data channel. "We've mapped their entire network," Maya announced, displaying a holistic view of Aegis Tech's infrastructure. Every power line, every substation, every hidden facility. The scope is staggering. They've built a shadow internet within the power grid itself. Agent Turner coordinated with utility companies across the region. "We've convinced key power executives to help us," he reported. "When Aegis Tech initiates their upgrade, we'll be able to monitor every surge, every fluctuation. But we'll only get one chance at this." At Redstone, Guard Carter noticed the Aegis Tech technicians were making final adjustments to their equipment. The prison's power systems had been completely overhauled, with new hardware that seemed excessive for a correctional facility. Through careful observation, he documented connections that linked directly to Aegis Tech's hidden network. Maya's analysis of the power grid communications revealed a crucial pattern. "These signatures aren't just carrying data," she explained, pointing to complex waveforms on her screen. "They're part of a verification system Liam built in a way to prove the authenticity of his recordings. Every power fluctuation is time-stamped and cryptographically signed." Evelyn received encrypted communications from multiple sources within Aegis Tech. The company was mobilizing all its resources for the upgrade, bringing in specialists from across the country. The operation would require precise coordination across all facilities, creating both an opportunity and a challenge for the investigation team. Zeus's unique training continued to provide invaluable assistance. The German Shepherd's sensitivity to electromagnetic fields helped identify critical nodes in Aegis Tech's network. His behavior changed subtly near high-capacity power lines, revealing hidden data transmission points that might have otherwise gone unnoticed. The upgrade isn't just about increasing capacity, Maya realized, studying the latest power consumption projections. They're trying to embed their system so deeply into the power grid that it becomes impossible to separate. Once it's active, they'll have the ability to manipulate digital records anywhere their power lines reach. Agent Turner brought concerning news from his surveillance teams. Aegis Tech is installing new hardware at power substations across the country. They're calling them grid optimization modules, but they're actually data processing nodes. They're building redundancy into their system. Liam's latest message from Redstone, carefully transmitted through Carter's secure channel, provided critical context. The power grid integration isn't just about hiding their operations. They're using the electrical network's inherent properties to validate their manipulated data. The power signatures themselves become the authentication mechanism. Maya worked frantically to decode more of the hidden messages in the power fluctuations. Liam didn't just record their activities, she explained to the team. He created a system that could prove the existence of the original, unaltered data. Every manipulation leaves an indelible mark in the power signatures. Evelyn's legal strategy crystallized as they understood more about Aegis Tech's operations. The company hadn't just created a system for manipulating evidence, they had built an entire parallel infrastructure designed to make their fabrications appear legitimate to any investigation. The team's research revealed another layer of complexity in Project Echo. The system wasn't just capable of creating false digital footprints, it could retroactively alter the power signatures of past grid activities, making it appear as though the manipulated data had always existed. The tension in Evelyn's office reached new heights as all the pieces of their investigation began falling into place. The evidence board now told a story of corporate manipulation on an unprecedented scale, with Aegis Tech's tendrils reaching deep into the nation's power infrastructure. The system upgrade is scheduled for tomorrow night, Maya announced, her voice tight with urgency. They're calling it a routine grid maintenance procedure, but our analysis shows they're preparing for the largest power surge we've ever recorded. Agent Turner coordinated with utility company executives across multiple states. We've established monitoring stations at every major junction, he reported. When they initiate the upgrade, we'll be able to track every power fluctuation, every data transfer. The power companies are ready to cooperate. At Redstone, Guard Carter's careful observations revealed a pattern in the new security installations. The Aegis Tech technicians had created a sophisticated network that extended far beyond normal prison requirements, linking directly to their hidden infrastructure. Maya's analysis of the power grid communications uncovered something unexpected. These recent power signatures, she explained, pointing to her screen, they're different from the others. Liam's beacon is showing signs of active communication. He's not just recording anymore. He's trying to tell us something. Evelyn received urgent intelligence from her sources inside Aegis Tech. The company had called in every available technician and engineer for the upgrade. Security at their facilities had been heightened, and employees were being monitored more closely than ever. Zeus's behavior became increasingly focused as they conducted final surveys of Aegis Tech's power infrastructure. The German Shepherd's reactions to electromagnetic fields helped identify crucial nodes in their network, leading the team to discover new connections they hadn't previously mapped. Look at these power consumption patterns, Maya called out, highlighting complex data streams. The upgrade isn't just about increasing their capacity, they're planning to integrate Project Echo directly into the national power grid's basic operations. Once it's embedded, separating their system from legitimate power infrastructure will be almost impossible. Agent Turner brought new information from his surveillance teams. Aegis Tech has been installing what they call smart grid optimization modules at power substations nationwide. But our analysis shows these devices are actually sophisticated data processing nodes disguised as routine power management equipment. Liam's latest message from Redstone, transmitted through Carter's secure channel, was more urgent than ever. The upgrade will create a brief window of vulnerability. When they initiate the power surge, all their systems will be exposed for a few crucial minutes. Everything we need to prove what they've done will be visible in the power signatures. Maya worked intensively to decode more of Liam's hidden messages in the power fluctuations. He didn't just create a passive recording system, she explained to the team. The beacon includes protocols for active intervention. Liam built in a way to disrupt their operations if we can coordinate our timing perfectly. Evelyn's legal strategy evolved as they understood more about Aegis Tech's planned upgrade. They wouldn't just be exposing a company's illegal activities, they would be revealing a massive conspiracy to control and manipulate digital information through the nation's power infrastructure. The team's investigation revealed the true scope of Project Echo's capabilities. Once integrated into the power grid, the system would have the ability to alter digital records anywhere their power lines reached, creating a network of unprecedented scale and influence. The last pieces of the puzzle were falling into place as Evelyn's team prepared for Aegis Tech's imminent system upgrade. The office had been transformed into a command center, with multiple screens displaying power grid data from across the country. The upgrade sequence will begin at exactly midnight, Maya explained, pointing to a complex timeline displayed on the main screen. They'll initiate synchronized power surges across all their facilities. That's our window of opportunity, the moment when their entire network will be exposed. Agent Turner had positioned his team strategically around key power distribution nodes. We have cooperation from utility companies in 12 states, he reported. Each location is ready to monitor and record the power signatures during the upgrade. We'll be able to capture every bit of data they transmit. At Redstone, Guard Carter noticed increased activity around the prison's power systems. The Aegis Tech technicians were making final adjustments to their equipment, running tests that caused subtle fluctuations in the facility's power supply. Through careful observation, he documented every change, every unusual pattern. Maya's analysis of recent power signatures revealed something crucial. Liam's beacon is becoming more active, she explained, showing the team new data patterns. He built in protocols that activate when they prepare for major system changes. The beacon is giving us exact specifications for what we need to monitor during the upgrade. Evelyn received encrypted messages from multiple sources within Aegis Tech. The company had implemented unprecedented security measures around their facilities. Everyone involved in the upgrade was being closely monitored, and all communication was being strictly controlled. Zeus's training proved invaluable as they made final preparations. The German Shepherd's sensitivity to electromagnetic fields helped them verify the locations of crucial power nodes. His behavior indicated patterns in the power grid activity that confirmed their theories about Aegis Tech's hidden network. These power signatures aren't just carrying data, Maya realized, studying the latest readings. They're part of a larger authentication system. When they initiate the upgrade, every facility in their network will generate specific power fluctuations that validate their operations. Liam's beacon has been recording these patterns, creating a map of their entire system. Agent Turner brought new intelligence from his surveillance teams. Aegis Tech is moving personnel into position at every facility. They're calling it a routine maintenance operation, but our observers report unprecedented levels of security and technical staff. Liam's final message from Redstone, carefully relayed through Carter's secure channel, provided crucial instructions. The power surge will create a cascading effect through their network. Each facility will generate unique signatures that prove their participation in the system. Monitor these signatures, they're the key to exposing everything. Maya worked through the complex power grid data, preparing their systems to capture every detail during the upgrade. Liam's beacon isn't just a passive recording device, she explained. It's designed to interact with their system during major operations. When they initiate the upgrade, the beacon will help us track and decode every transmission. Evelyn's legal team prepared for multiple scenarios. The evidence they would gather during the upgrade could expose not just individual crimes, but an entire system of corporate manipulation built into the nation's power infrastructure. The implications would reach far beyond Aegis Tech. As midnight approached, Evelyn's office hummed with controlled tension. Multiple screens displayed real-time power grid data from across the country, each one monitoring a different aspect of Aegis Tech's network. The culmination of their investigation was mere minutes away. All monitoring stations are in position, Maya reported, her voice steady despite the pressure. We're receiving data from every major node in their network. The power companies have given us direct access to their monitoring systems. When Aegis Tech initiates the upgrade, we'll see everything. Agent Turner coordinated final positions with his teams across the country. We have eyes on every major facility, he confirmed. The power company technicians are standing by at each substation. They're ready to record every fluctuation, every surge, every bit of data that passes through their systems. At Redstone, Guard Carter maintained his vigilant observation of the new security systems. The Aegis Tech technicians had moved into their final positions, their equipment ready for the upgrade. Through careful documentation, he noted every detail of their preparations, every adjustment to the power systems. Maya's monitoring systems detected the first signs of activity. They're beginning their pre-upgrade sequences, she announced, pointing to subtle changes in the power signatures. Liam's beacon is responding. It's already starting to collect data about their preparations. Evelyn received urgent updates from her sources inside Aegis Tech. The company had locked down all their facilities, implementing strict security protocols. Only essential personnel were allowed near the critical systems, and all communications were being carefully monitored. Zeus's behavior became increasingly focused as the power grid activity intensified. The German Shepherd's reactions to the changing electromagnetic fields provided real-time confirmation of the power fluctuations they were monitoring. His training had prepared him for exactly this kind of operation. "Look at these patterns," Maya called out, highlighting complex data streams on her main screen. They're synchronizing their systems across all facilities. Each location is generating unique power signatures that will form part of their authentication process during the upgrade. Agent Turner brought final reports from his surveillance teams. Aegis Tech's security teams are on high alert, he reported. They've positioned additional personnel around their primary facilities. They're treating this as a critical operation, not routine maintenance. Liam's last message from Redstone, transmitted through Carter's secure channel, carried final instructions. When the upgrade begins, the power surges will create a cascade of authentication signatures. Each one contains encoded data about their operations. The beacon will help you capture and decode everything. Maya's systems were ready to capture every detail of the upgrade process. Liam's beacon isn't just going to record the power signatures, she explained to the team. It's designed to interact with their system during the upgrade, helping us track and decode every transmission in real time. Catherine's legal team stood ready to act on whatever evidence they gathered. The documentation they would collect during the upgrade could expose not just individual instances of manipulation, but the entire infrastructure Aegis Tech had built to control digital information. The digital clocks in Catherine's office struck midnight, and the power grid monitoring systems erupted with activity. Aegis Tech's synchronized upgrade had begun, sending waves of energy surges through their hidden network across the country. "It's starting," Maya announced, her fingers flying across multiple keyboards. The power signatures are exactly as Liam predicted. Every facility in their network is generating authentication codes through the power fluctuations. Agent Turner coordinated with his teams, positioned at key power stations. "We're recording everything," he confirmed. The power company technicians are capturing every surge, every fluctuation. The evidence is pouring in from all locations simultaneously. At Redstone, Guard Carter observed a sudden increase in power consumption as Aegis Tech's systems engaged. The new security installations hummed with activity, drawing massive amounts of electricity as they synchronize with the larger network. Maya's screens filled with cascading data as Liam's beacon sprang to life. "The beacon is working exactly as designed," she called out excitedly. "It's not just recording their transmissions, it's decoding them in real time. We can see everything they're doing." Evelyn received urgent messages from her sources within Aegis Tech. The company's executives were gathering in their main facility, monitoring the upgrade progress. They had no idea that every power surge was exposing more of their hidden operations. Zeus's training proved crucial as they tracked the power signatures. The German Shepherd's reactions to the electromagnetic surges helped confirm the patterns they were seeing in the data, providing physical verification of the digital evidence they were collecting. These power fluctuations aren't just carrying system data, Maya realized, studying the decoded transmissions. They're transmitting their entire operational history. Every manipulation, every fabricated record, every false digital footprint, it's all being confirmed through these authentication signatures. Agent Turner's surveillance teams reported unprecedented activity at Aegis Tech facilities. Their security personnel are focused on external threats, he reported. They never imagined the evidence would be exposed through their own power consumption patterns. Liam's final insight, recorded in his hidden protocols, proved prophetic. The upgrade process required each facility to validate its entire operational history, creating a perfect record of every system manipulation they had ever performed. Maya's monitoring systems captured everything. The beacon is collecting more than just evidence of their current operations, she explained. Watching the data flood in, it's gathering proof of every case where they use Project Echo to manipulate digital records. The power signatures contain it all. Evelyn's legal team began organizing the incoming evidence. The power consumption data proved not just the existence of Project Echo, but its systematic use to manipulate digital records across countless cases. The authentication signatures provided irrefutable proof of corporate manipulation on an unprecedented scale. As the upgrade reached its peak, the true scope of Aegis Tech's operations became clear. They hadn't just built a system for manipulating digital evidence, they had created an entire shadow infrastructure within the nation's power grid, using it to control and manipulate information on a massive scale. The morning sun cast long shadows across Evelyn's office as her team processed the mountain of evidence collected during Aegis Tech's system upgrade. The power signatures had revealed far more than anyone had anticipated, creating an unbreakable chain of proof that would expose years of corporate manipulation. "The evidence is overwhelming," Maya announced, organizing the final data streams from Liam's beacon. Every power surge during the upgrade carried authentication signatures that prove how they manipulated digital records. "We have documented proof of every case where Project Echo was used to alter evidence." Agent Turner coordinated with federal authorities, sharing the massive collection of power consumption data. "The utility companies have verified every reading," he confirmed. "The power signatures provide irrefutable proof of Aegis Tech's hidden operations. There's no way they can deny what we've uncovered." At Redstone, Guard Carter watched as the Aegis Tech technicians frantically tried to understand what had happened during the upgrade. Their systems were functioning perfectly, but they had no idea that every power fluctuation had exposed their secret operations to the world. Maya's final analysis of the power grid data revealed the full scope of Project Echo. They didn't just create a system for manipulating digital evidence, she explained to Catherine's team. They built an entire parallel infrastructure within the power grid itself. Liam's beacon captured it all. Catherine presented the evidence to the state's highest authorities. The power consumption data proved not just Liam's innocence, but exposed systematic corporate manipulation that reached into the highest levels of government and industry. The authentication signatures provided undeniable proof of every alteration they had ever made. Zeus, his mission finally complete, rested contentedly at Maya's feet. The German Shepherd's unique training had helped expose one of the largest corporate conspiracies in history, proving that loyalty and intelligence could overcome even the most sophisticated technological deception. "Look at this," Maya called out, highlighting a particular series of power signatures. These patterns show exactly how they planted false evidence in Liam's case. The authentication signatures reveal every step they took to frame him, and more importantly, who authorized each action. Agent Turner brought news that federal agents were moving to secure Vanguard Systems facilities across the country. The evidence gathered through the power grid monitoring had triggered a nationwide investigation, exposing a web of corporate manipulation that had gone undetected for years. Liam's foresight in creating the beacon had paid off beyond anyone's expectations. By hiding his monitoring system within the power grid itself, he had created an unimpeachable record of every manipulation Vanguard Systems had ever attempted. Maya compiled the final report on Project Echo's capabilities. The system wasn't just about altering digital records, she explained to Evelyn. It was about controlling information itself. But by requiring specific power signatures for authentication, they inadvertently created proof of every change they made. Evelyn proceeded with the legal proceedings that would finally bring justice. The evidence collected during the upgrade provided everything needed to expose the truth, clear Liam's name, and hold accountable those who had abused their power. When the dust settled, Liam emerged from Redstone a free man, greeted by Zeus's enthusiastic welcome. The loyal German Shepherd, who had played such a crucial role in exposing the truth, was finally reunited with his beloved owner. The case became a landmark in corporate accountability, demonstrating how technology intended for deception could ultimately reveal the truth. Liam's expertise, Evelyn's determination, Maya's technical skills, and Zeus's unique abilities had combined to expose one of the most sophisticated corporate conspiracies ever attempted. This story isn't just a journey for justice. It's a testament to the power of friendship, loyalty, and human resilience. Liam wasn't just exonerated, and he became a hero in the fight against abuse of power and corruption. And Zeus, that faithful dog, wasn't just a companion but the key to unlocking a hidden world, bringing the wrongdoers to justice. If this story moved you and you want to hear more thrilling tales about truth, justice, and loyalty, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel. We bring you exciting, deep, and meaningful stories every week. Share this video with your friends and family so they can also discover the fascinating stories we have to offer. Subscribe now so you never miss a video. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to bringing you more incredible stories soon.